Hello and welcome to Zaritia. Coming back to it. I'm going to do the basic stuff even though I played it once before, because the last time I went over this stuff it was in a live stream. I don't really expect all of you to check out a live stream just to see the lore. I know I usually expect you guys to go to older videos if you want to see the beginning lore, but I feel like a live stream's just a little different, so I'll go ahead and do that sort of stuff. Zaritia, Return of the Tribes. Since before the time of the founding of Carthage, the nomadic Ibazib tribes have dwelled in northern Zaritia. Caring little for boundaries set by others, they've traveled as the seasons demanded and made their living through trading, farming, and herding. Their nomadic life brought them into regular conflict with their neighbors, though, and they quickly developed a reputation as ferocious mercenaries and raiders. Their history is long and winding, yet in modern times it starts in 961, when a coalition of Ibazib tribes under the command of Mekasa the Ataghan tribe swept out of the desert and into the lands of Towbuck. The mostly Mare Egypt descending pony population had long chafed under the rule of Warzina, and saw in the Ibazib an opportunity to throw off this yoke. And instead of simply serving as mercenaries yet again, the Ibazib came to remain, and Towbuck became part of Zaritia, the first modern Ibazib state. With access to a important trading city and the fertile lands of the coast, the Ibazib would be able to industrialize, found a modern state, rebuild their desert paths into a modern trans-Saharan railroad, for the first time truly change. That was the plan, at least. Though great strides were made during Mekassa's reign, it all came crashing down in 1005. The Storm King's rampage hit and the still fledgling nation hard. Towbuck fell swiftly, and the Ibazib tribes adapted by fleeing into the desert. With no other choice, Mekasa was left to follow them and abandoned the coast, though she vowed to return. The devastation wrought by the Yeti hordes meant that the Ibazib were still in disarray when the Equestrian gunrunner Peace Shooter established himself in Towbuck to capitalize on the weapon stores the Storm King had built up there. Peace Shooter's warlord allies are strong and well-armed. The economic and industrial heartland of Zaritia is out of Mekassa's reach, and the tribes view her with hesitation and doubt after the events of the last years. Mekasa, who had hoped that her twilight years would be spent enjoying the fruits of a lifetime of labor, now finds herself standing where she stood 50 years ago. Time will tell if Zaritia will go down in the history books as a strange anomaly, or if it will be able to reassert itself. Let's see. We don't start with any generals that have descriptions, so we'll begin with just building up, doing our basics. So, wait, actually, nope. Just remembered, yep. Don't want to do that because I get an event that gives me the guns. Yeah, this gives me infantry weapons, so I don't want to do that. I want to wait and just get them naturally through that. No reason to waste. Alright. Mekasa Ataghan. Mekasa was born as the oldest child of the leader of Ataghan tribes. Ever the precocious child, her talent for leadership showed itself when the Towbuckian envoys came to seek aid from the Ibazib tribes in throwing off the Warzina yoke. Though not even a chief, she was the first to pledge herself to aid them, and managed to both convince her parents as well as many others to join the cause. What more, her zeal impressed the Towbuckians, and as the tribes moved to liberate the city from its Warzina overlord, the Ataghan was able to set the agenda. Within the tribe, the agenda became set by the young Mekasa. The victory against Warzina raised the Ataghan to the apex of their power among the tribes, and Mekasa was raised to become the new Engwilded. I'm gonna mispronounce everything here, but anyways, and I'm not gonna correct myself. So, yeah. Sorry. Me. Not gonna change. Oh well. You like me or you don't. The chosen leader with the rights to call the tribes to war, in recognition of her triumphs, while not officially the leader of Towbuck. The city and surroundings knew who they relied on for protection, and therefore allowed her great say in their affairs as well. Ever since, Mekasa has worked to bring Towbuck and the Ibizim together into one united nation akin to Carthage or Egypt. And though the events of recent years have set her life's goal back by decades, she is nothing if not tenacious. Legacy of the Storm. When the Storm King invaded us with his army, we managed to avoid his wrath with either humble tribute, clever diplomacy, cunning trickery, or by other means. We gave away all our valuables and artifacts, and in return the Storm King was content, leaving us alone for the most part, only sacking and destroying a few towns. Afterward, we became a tributary until he eventually perished. Some of our citizens grumbled that we should have fought back against the warlord, but at least our country remains mostly intact. The Desert Tribes. Born and raised in the sweltering desert of the Zeb-Hera, the Ibizim zebras are hardy like few. In the desert, weakness can kill, and they have learned how to prosper there. Great Confederacy. The Ibizim are not one united kingdom, but a great host of different tribes, many of them with unique customs, beliefs, and attitudes, and it is only outsiders who see them as one people. Though the leader can count on their aid, the tribe comes first. In times of crisis, this is especially noticeable. Few know how to traverse the Zeb-Hera like the Ibizim. Their services are available to whoever pays, and if one does not have money, tools or weapons will usually suffice. The story of Zaritia is the story of Mekasa, a Tang. No zebra before her has managed to bring the Ibizim tribes together like she did, and during her long life she has become a legend. Yet the Storm King's rampage and loss of Towbuck shattered the hope of her twilight years being peaceful. And we begin. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah, Zaritia is like the one that doesn't have any city that's important enough to be talked about. Mostly because they're not really city-based, but you know. Time was like water, flowing on endlessly, and as much as she grasped for it, it was just flowed around your hooves. Even if you achieved great things, time could sweep it away so easily, leaving you standing in the ashes of your successes. As all things were born, so all things must die, and Mekasa Ataghan felt her age weigh down on her. 2 years ago, all had been right in the world, and yet then it had all come crashing down. Was this the legacy which she would leave for her beloved daughter? A nation that had fled into the desert with its tail between its legs, a capital in the hooves of the criminals and warlords, and a people who had lost faith in her? Decades of work done in a hoofful of months? Now she was back where she started all those years ago, now an older, more tired zebra. You are brooding, mother. Emily's voice came from behind Mekasa as she came up to stand by her mother's side. You know that you do not need to do this, right? You can retire now and let me deal with Towbuck. Perhaps the time has come for a younger, more vigorous zebra to take charge. Then you can stay in Agazat and eat dates. Perhaps it would be a more fitting challenge for you. Girl, I will have you canned. Mekasa gave her daughter a freezing glare. I thought I would have peace when your father passed, but his barbed tongue has jumped into your mouth. No rest for the wicked, mother, and there is not a greater villain in Zaritia than you. Umala's smile reached from ear to ear. That's it. Where can I find a cane? Mekasa started looking around herself. She was certain she had seen some reeds she could use somewhere. Oh, but mother, if you need support to walk, I can have one more made for you. Umaliz laughed as she fled her mother's wrath. I'm not dead yet, you insolent whelp. The Rat of Towbuck. Towbuck was the crown jewel of Zaritia, and the Equestrian that now occupies it is a blight. Yet he has the backing of powerful warlords, as evidenced by the fate of those warriors who first rushed to dislodge them. The already weakened Ibizim are in no position to fight a war, and the pin must rule. The Lost City. Main's Amzadag, a trader from Towbuck, had arrived early that morning, and he carried with him news from Towbuck. Said news were enough to make the blood boil, yet Mekasa sat calmly on her pew as Maine spoke of Peashooter's plans. And they say Equestria is the land of friendship. When Min's was done, is there no depth to which he won't sink? Not enough that he squats in our city. He even has the timidity to try to negotiate? It seems that way, your majesty. He asks for 1 year, and says that at the end of the year, the city will be given back to you, as he puts it. And though he is impudent, I humbly request that the crown repays his diplomacy in kind. Towbuck, much like your tribes, was devastated by the Storm King, and though the ponies long for your return, sparing them from more violence is the right thing to do. A thief has crawled into your house and taken possession of it. Do you drive him out or sit outside your house to patiently wait for him to decide to leave? Mekasa responded, Main's bowing his head in response. I simply fear that threats, however justified, will only impact what little trade that still can flow to the city. Whatever you choose, though, now that the ponies of Towbuck still long for your return. It is humiliating, but we can ill afford pride. Choosing the hope. The Equestrian is given his promise, and unless rivers of blood are spilled, the city remains in his grip either way. Trusting his word and remaining on as good terms as possible with him may well be the best hope the weakened Imazib have. I suppose. I don't like it, though. The Amzerbud are Mekasa's most fierce servants, but their loyalty is tied to their honor. The choice to tolerate the Towbuckians' intruders robs them of vengeance for our fallen kin, and they are making their voices heard. Maybe don't. Maybe we can just chill, you know? Chill? Wanna just chill, you know? Chill, right? The City of Brooks. Ataghan was never more than a gathering place for the tribes, yet with Mekasa's ascension, and became so much more. It has become a city in its own right, and foreign traders and interests are coming there now that Towbuck is not accessible. Though it is lesser than our lost capital, it serves us dutifully. Woo! From the Chaos Growth. As you reach the highlands of northern Zaritia, the desert slowly gives way to the rolling grasslands, which in turn become hills crisscrossed by small brooks. These lands are as fertile as you will find anywhere in Zaritia, and the valleys are filled with olive groves, fields of sorghum and cassava, and even vineyards. Cool winds blow in from the north, and contesting the hot, dry Zebhara gives the region periods of refreshing cool. Here, nested on the slopes of a large ridge, lies the city of Agzat. It is a modest place by the international standards, with buildings out of mud bricks and rammed earth. The buildings are, unlike the cities of the coast, built for defense as much as anything else, with many of them almost akin to small fortresses. It is also a place of rapid change. Before the Storm King, Carthaginian and Mere Egyptian investors had both seen the potential in this city, and industries have sprung up in the region. Foreigners are a more common sight than ever before, as it escaped destruction has become one of the few places still fully intact, and thus the best place to do business. The merchants and crafts ponies that fled Towbuck in Peashooter's reign have settled among the Zaritians as well, doing their part in helping to raise the city up. Though the last years have been hard on the Aquilid and Zaritia for Ataghan, they have been good. So, small hint on what we're doing. We're actually doing a path I have not done before as this nation. It's not a secret path, it's nothing hidden. It's just a path that I haven't done with this nation. One of their normal paths that I haven't done. So yeah. The Storm King's rampage left the Trans-Zeberan trade devastated, and is a shadow of what it once was. It will take years for it to grow back if it is not helped along. By Mekasa's word and efforts, the caravan shall be restored, greater than ever before. A route through the Great Desert. Much of the tribe's wealth was built not on warfare, but on trade. For centuries, the Zebhera has been the fastest route to cross the continent, but there are few who have been able to brave the sweltering place. The Invisib are among those who have the strength, the skill, and the willpower to conquer this desolate region. From Mer Egypt to Carthage, merchants have eagerly hired their services to help speed them along the way. In the wake of the Storm King's rampage, the caravans that once trekked these dangerous routes have all but disappeared, yet the flow and desire for commerce has not abated, and there are those who long for routes to open again. Towbuck might currently be lost to us, but our services are still desired across Zaritia, and we are still here to provide. Muster guards. The Zebhera is a place of 1,000 perils. From raiders to monsters, and the zebras who take on the duties of the caravans must be up to the task. Those who buy our services pay well for our protection, and we will not let them down. Arabia's slowly uniting. So far, the world seems pretty peaceful, which is nice. Always nice seeing peace. Not right now. Assuaging the Azur tribes. The Azur tribes are a breed of their own, and the Ibazim know well that if you wish to traverse their lands, you must respect them. Gifts of peace will help them overlook our trespasses, and extra precautions among the caravans will lower the risk of incidents. A grand caravan. From Agazat, we will cut a path down to Camelot, bypassing the Quagatai lands and reaching the southeast in record time. This caravan is more than just a trading expedition. It is an affirmation that the Imazib are still able and willing to master the Zebhera. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Actually, I want to grab you. Returning from the desert. Through the Zebhera, down past Quagatai, and into Camelot, and beyond the caravans that has made its way. At several points, its appearance caused worry, even fear, as there were those who thought the approaching caravans was an invasion. Thankfully, our guards could smooth things over, and our merchants could deal in their goods along the route. The land where we traveled are still dealing with the aftermath of the Storm King's invasion, and still devastated towns and villages we saw make it all clear that it will take months, if not years, to restore them. Yet life goes on. There's still the need for trade. Maybe the goods needed are more practical than they used to be, but the buyers are no less interested, and as long as there is need for trade, the caravans will be traveling. Alright. Let's send out our merchants. Our desert. For centuries, the Imazib have not only survived, but even thrived in lands that others find too harsh. Part of the key that has been to never simply accept the desert for what it is. It can become more, and whether it will take years or decades, the Imazib are patient. We certainly are. The desert flowering. The peoples of the coast believe that we love the desert. We don't. We endure the desert, but we do not love it. There's nothing in the desert, and no zebra needs nothing. We love the rivers that briefly flow through our lands in the winter. We love the times that the rain brings the desert alive with countless flowers and plants. We love the fields that bring plentiful harvests of sweet fruits and filling grains. We love the sacred internet flowers that the mighty Illard leaves in its wake. And we tend every little patch we find like it was our little children. Other people have lived so long along their verdant coastlines where the soil provides all they could dream of, that when they see us eking out a living in Zebhera, they presume it must be a matter of desire rather than necessity. As we carve the wadies and the dried riverbeds with canals and reservoirs, treasuring every drop we are given, we remember Towbuck, that city between the rivers. There, the coastline was ours, and the ponies we liberated from their Warzenan oppressors were our friends. We traded, we feasted together, found love with each other, and worked together to build a future together. Towbuck might be lost to us, at least for now, but as we wait to regain that city, we wait, and we carve the desert to give what little it can. We have not forgotten you, pony friends. It looks like they've already, been overthrown in some way, but, I'll just continue on and just let that be. The old ways. To an outside observer, the Imazib are an eternal and unchanging fixture of Zarantia, one that stays true to their ways no matter how the wind blows. Yet beyond this stereotype lies a much more complex truth. And though some conform to these notions, just as many are fluid in their ways and more than willing to adapt. Network expands, our effort to rebuild our trade network have borne fruit, and have secured connections among a wide array of local merchants and companies. Not only have we secured a small delivery of weapons, we've also built up a network of future contacts to strengthen the system even more in the future. Yay! Let's go! That's what we want to hear! Let's go! Whoop whoop! Meow! Next, let's try you. Let's keep on going. Keep this train a-rolling. Keep on going, and keep this train a-rolling, rolling. That's what I say. Why do I say it? I don't know. A changing road. Why did we take Towbuck, my dear daughter? Mekasa asked Umalez before taking a sip of her tea. Not when, or under what pretext, but why? Because it was our gateway to modernity. Holding Towbuck would let our people rise to become akin to Carthage or Mere Egypt. Yes, we would seize a modern city, leave our old ways behind, and become like Carthaginians with no trouble. That was why we failed. Yes, failed. Our people are bound by tradition, millennia in the making. The future is like the green sea, vast, inviting. We galloped out of the desert towards it. Then we took Towbuck, but the sea can drown you. You can become lost in it, and it is less deadly than the Zarantia. If we do not have ourselves, then what do we have? And losing our old ways to start playing as being Carthaginians would make us what? Imposters, dancing to a foreign tune, not ours? Umalez nodded as she noticed Mother's point, but at the same time, that unwillingness to change is what lost us Towbuck. Was it, Mekasa asked pointedly, or was it blind faith that progress would be inevitable, and that my people had to lose themselves in order to be safe? Or, she smiled wryly, maybe that it just simply fear speaking. It's so easy to flee and refuse to give up anything, and then you've already lost. Clinging to what drags you down can drown you even in a shallower sea. It's a difficult issue, but that is why we are here, my daughter. We must make sure they won't lose themselves. We serve so that the Imazim can change on their terms. A settling people. Nomadism is not some inherent trait of the Imazib. It is a way to eke out a living in these harsh lands. Many tribes, especially in the north, have been settled for centuries. They built their towns and cities much like the Carthaginians or Mere Egyptians, and they are no less Imazib than their wandering kin. Come on, succeed. Darn it, nope, not accepting that. Nope, no. I'm not. I don't care. I'm not accepting a 20% chance. Get screwed. I'm not doing it. No. I will not. That is a no. So yeah, get out of here. I don't care. You can pick it up and throw it in the trash because you're out of here. Leave. Me failing, throw it in the trash. Me succeeding raised up into the sky. That's my opinion on it. So, simple as that. Bing bada boom. Fine, we'll send the exact opposite direction of merchants. There. That better? Huh? What do you say? Is that better for you? Huh? Is it? Oh, Leni is fighting itself. That's cool. There we go. Our efforts to rebuild our trade networks have borne fruit. I've secured connections among a wide variety of local merchants and companies. Not only have we secured a small delivery of weapons, we've also built up a network of future contacts to strengthen the system even more in the future. Yeah. That's better. That's what we want to see. Not what we saw before. We don't want to see that. No, that's what I'd say. That's what I'd firstly call not what we want to see. A settling people. The Colchians are an amusing sort, Mekasa said out of the blue. We have been their neighbors for an untold centuries, and yet so many of them think we do not live in towns or villages at all. I recall this one playwright in Colthage who wrote a play where an Imazib mare was withering away because she was trapped in the city. I had the misfortune to watch it once when visiting, and I did not know if I was to collapse in laughter or retrieve a cane and go find the playwright. It is so strange. Hat lies close to our lands. Do they not know how many of us have been settled for centuries? I guess they do not consider those proper Imazib. In their mind, you must be nomadic to be a true Imazib. Yet when you consider the opposition between the nomads and the settled, I suppose I see where they get confused. How do you manage it? Imazib asked her mother. How do you find a balance between the settled and nomadic? I don't. Not really, Mekasa said. Their needs are nay completely opposed, and perfect balance is precarious position. To favor none is to be able to trust none, and you need to find those who stand by you utterly. As for me, those nomads helped us claim Towbuck, and I've not forgotten. I stand by the city and towns. They are the way forward. The city and towns are what matters. The sword or the scale. The Imazid are a warlike people. The desert breeds a hardy people, but they are also traders and caravanners who have earned a living crossing the Zepera and carrying goods for whoever needs their services. Yes. So what is our path to unity? What may it be? I think that's a good thing to be our last thing to decide before this episode ends, so that you guys can know what path we're taking before we are done with this episode. The path to unity. At times I do not envy the rulers of other nations, Umalez murmured as more tea was poured for her. Their people might bicker and fight for dominance, but they are still part of the same nation. Being the Equid of Zaritia seems to be more akin to herding dragons. It is, Mekasa responded flatly. Zaritia is not something written into the fabric of the land. It is an agreement between tribes, and if they feel that the deal is not honored, they will no longer stick around. The question is what the remedy will be. In Griffonia, the Griffin's empire was brought together through force, and all I've read said that the empire is no shortage of prideful or stubborn people. Then again, their empire is the shadow of what it was, and their leader frail. Indeed, and yet at least they reached that far. That is more than you could say for many nations. Tribes like ours have worked together in concord, but conquest is how kingdoms have been built. And yet aren't those kingdoms rocked by demands for democracy? Umalez mused. A hoof full of dragons will defeat an army of sheep. It's true that a cowed people follows more easily. Might not a nation of free zebras be even stronger? Highfalutin ideas are dangerous, my daughter. If things continue as they are, unity must be forced. But you are right, our people must come together on their own terms. Come together on their own terms. Yep, that's what we're doing this time. And I'm also going to see if this succeeds, because if it fails, we're going to start there and get back. Thank you. Alright, good. But this is a good time to go ahead and end this episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. As always, peace.